If you've ever travelled to Tokyo, you may have noticed that the trains are always perfectly on time. Station staff are always pretty polite and happy to assist you, and the stations are always pretty clean. But of course, there have been many instances of less than perfect behaviour on the trains. So today we'll be taking a look at the top 5 weirdest, or at least recorded, people and situations that have happened on the Japan rails. So before jumping into the top 5, a quick rundown on the train etiquette expected by all train passengers. So number 1 is no pushing or running onto the train. So that's pretty common, I would say, across the entire globe, just to prevent sort of injuries from happening. Number 2 is no phone calls while on the train. So generally people expect you to remain pretty quiet at all times, or better yet, just 100% silent. Number 3 is no eating or drinking on the train. That's also pretty standard. And then number 4 is abide by priority seating rules. So that means giving up your seat to elderly people, pregnant ladies, and then also people with disabilities where possible. And then on top of that, respecting the women-only train cards. Japan has a pretty bad track record when it comes to chikan cases, which means sexual harassment, on the train. So in order to prevent or at least reduce these numbers, the government and the private rail companies have implemented women-only carriages during peak hours. And then number 5 is don't carry your backpack on your back when the train's busy. Obviously the reason being is that you can't see where your backpack is and it could be in the poor fellow behind his mouth. You may think that there are way too many rules to follow, but since Japan is a culture that places enormous importance on respecting other people, you will get many people staring at you if you don't follow the rules. Anyway, let's get right into the top 5. So in 5th place we have Dragon Ball Aunt, aka Super Saiyan Goku. This lady has become quite the meme legend in Japan with over 200,000 tweets about her, although no one knows the details for sure. By what she's screaming about, it sounds like she got into a bit of a quarrel with the station staff. Because her voice is similar to the war cry performed by Goku from Dragon Ball before he goes Super Saiyan, she's aptly been nicknamed the Goku Lady by the great folks over at the internet land. According to one theory, Goku's soul is within this 60-year-old woman in Tokyo. So coming up in 4th place we have Your Heart is Snickering. So we don't actually know why this woman is so angry and who she's even directing her anger at, but boy oh boy is she. The reason why this one became super famous is that it got played on a really famous drama called Goku. So this isn't the first time this lady has been spotted in Tokyo firing up at the other passengers for no apparent reason, with many eyewitnesses reporting her behaviour to train staff and even the police. So coming up in 3rd place we have Everyone Here Will Fucking Die. Yeah, so as you can see, this guy is freaking fuming. And according to reliable information on the internet, the reason is because he failed his entrance exams to Tokyo University, which is by far rated the best one in the nation. So in, I guess, what you could call retaliation, he jumped down onto the tracks and stopped the busiest line in Tokyo, which is called the Yamanote line, the green one if you've ever been here. So rather than taking responsibility for his own test results, he actually blames the upper working class instead of potentially just being unprepared for the damn test. Mate, just study more. According to one's theory, this person actually came from the future and wanted to save everyone on the train, knowing that it will derail and everyone will die in a horrific crash. However, I think we can safely say that that is not the case and he was just a dickhead. So number 2 is the guy's parents who were killed by the University of Tokyo Medical School.
うるさい。本当だからだ。バカ野郎うるせえぞこの野郎。本当のこと言ったら何で悪いんだこのバカ。電車の中静かにしなさい。そういうことだ。分かったか。知らねえよ。知らねえじゃねえ。So this guy's actually been spotted several times on various lines in Tokyo, shouting that the University of Tokyo School of Medicine is fucking stupid. On a side note, Tokyo's medical university is by far the hardest field of the hardest university to get into in Japan. So it looks like the only stupid one is you, my big old buddy old pal. Anyway, so back to the story. This guy's angrily complaining about the university, just yelling and being an asshole, and then the people around him tell him to shut the fuck up. His response to being told to shut the fuck up is something like, what the fuck does that even mean? Anyway, so the internet have come up with some theories, with some people saying that the medical department killed his parents and he's plotting to destroy the university. While others are saying that since he's saying such nonsensical things, he's actually just a famous comedian going undercover on the train. And then coming up in first place, the gold medal holder, we have Sexual Pleasure Man. So this big fella became super famous after this video in Japan. We don't know the specifics really, but he always talks to himself in a really loud voice, kind of like an anime character, about the couples around him, sitting on the train just beside him or in front of him, about their sex life, sometimes in very, very graphic detail. And then he compares it to his own life, in his own sex life. The nickname of Sexual Pleasure Man was given to him because he would always say to the couples around him the same piece of advice, which translates to understand the pleasure of sex, in a pretty bloody demanding way, if I may say so myself. Even though he does say some pretty disgusting things at times, he has become a pretty unique celebrity in Tokyo, with many people, especially young people, wanting to take photos with him, as he does frequent a lot of popular places like Shibuya Scramble. Because of this guy, similar to Leo's dad bod look, the chubby appearance in Tokyo, or in Japan actually, has become quite popular with the ladies. And there you have it guys, that is the top 5 most bizarre situations that have happened on Tokyo's trains. So although compared to other countries, Japan's trains are relatively safe and punctual, you still may encounter some oddballs here and there. So given the fact that people work 200 plus hours a week, you might come across someone who, has been yelled at one too many times that day and wants to let off some steam by running onto the tracks and disrupting the system, or running their mouth in the middle of the train. Of course, there are some people that 100% aren't mentally with it. I mean, either way, it's best not to get involved unless you think someone's about to get hurt or someone's in danger. So that is it for this time, guys. Thank you very much for watching all the way until the end. If you haven't already, please do subscribe, as we will be putting out content on a regular basis. If you do want us to cover anything, please just leave it in the comment below and we'll see if we can get to that. And then obviously, if you haven't already, please take a look at our Facebook page, our Twitter page, and our Instagram page with the links down below. As always, thank you very much.